Hey guys, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxies emulator video. Again, we're on Stardust, and my name is Gremlin. So what I'm going to do in this video is kind of start where we left off before about, getting a fresh tune and start grinding your profession. Like I said before in the last video, I'm going to be doing Fencer. So I already have one box in the Fencer. We're going to get some more XP, and we're going to get into Fencer today. So throughout the video, I'm going to be showing you some tips, some tricks, whatever, to get you kind of going and do it as quickly as possible. So I'm going to pretend like I don't have access to another combat tune or anything like that to kind of speed up the process. But once you do have another combat tune, you can actually do this much faster by logging into more tunes, different accounts. Now on the Stardust server, there's actually no limit to how many accounts you can have. I find that awesome. And you can also have 6 characters on an account. So you can log in all 6 of your characters that help you do combat, or they could just follow you around and help buff up your missions. So let's start with, what are we doing? Oh, so I did want to kind of talk about a program that me and another guildie are doing. We've actually been seeing a lot of growth on the server lately, so we've been trying to find some like newbie ways to, help. So what his idea is, he's actually putting together these packs of grind packs. So I actually don't know what's in them yet. I told him that he needs to go back and edit the description to say what's in them, but he told me that there's food and some other things in the grind pack. So they're about 10,000 credits, so that's really just, a couple missions. You can come back and you can get food and whatnot, and it'll definitely help you boost your output to cut down the time it takes to grind. So let me buy this just to see what it is. Of course, when you buy a container, it does warn you that this could be empty, blah, blah, blah. So, but, oh, I don't have enough money for that. How embarrassing. I forgot to actually transfer. So one of the things about vendors is that they do buy, like everything that you buy comes from your bank, so just make sure that you have enough money in your bank. So I'm going to double click on the bank, put everything into my bank from my person, and I'm going to go back and purchase this. Alright, so let's go ahead and buy the right one this time. So we want that grind pack, and we purchased it. So those of you who don't really understand, vendors are just new to the server. I could do let's do a bit of a breakdown for the vendors. For these vendors, you can actually see that there's things for sale. You can offer things to the vendor, and available items is kind of like what you have on the vendor to offer. And then on here, there's filters. So if it's a vendor has thousands of things on it, you can go through and filter out exactly what you want. So for example, I know that this vendor has a bunch of things. So starter weapons, let's say I want to go and buy starter weapons from this vendor. We can either do all, and you can see everything, but if I'm saying, hey, I need a new axe, for example, I can go to weapons. I can go to, it's a two-handed weapon, and then I have a filtered list of all the two-handed weapons I have. This is all the pistols he has, melee weapons, so on and so forth. So that's kind of how you find things on vendors. The other thing is the bazaar. So a lot of people have actually been asking, they didn't really know how to use the bazaar on the server. There's not a lot of people that actually use the bazaar. So in Star Wars Galaxies, there's 2 ways to buy things. The older system was a bazaar, which was like an auction thing, and it's kind of the game's way of being able to buy and sell things. So it's pretty much you offer things to this bazaar, and then you can buy things from this bazaar. But that's not something that is really used, and that was kind of phased out pretty quickly, even on live servers. So chances of you finding anything on the bazaar is pretty slim. I think people sometimes list resources. They'll just throw up some whatever resources that they were scouting, and they'll throw it up. So, you know, if you want to find some cheap grind material, especially for scouting, you can find it on the bazaar. But so that's all auctions right there. What you want to do is vendor locations. Vendor locations actually lists all the vendors on the entire galaxy. So all you have to do is click that, and this is going to show you everything that you can buy available in the vendor. So let's say I want to buy some armor. Actually, let's do something simpler, because armor, there's a bunch of pieces. So I'm a fencer, right? I want another one-handed weapon. So let's see. There are tons of survival knives for sale, and I'll break down what all these mean. So here's the item name. This is the item type. This is the location, and then it'll say how much they are. The bid is just the buyout price. So let's say we want this Reich blade. What you can do, you can look at it by right-clicking and seeing details. You can see the spread and whatnot. But instead of actually purchasing it from this bazaar, you can't actually purchase it from the public bazaar, but what you can do is you can create a waypoint. So you click that, it will give you a waypoint. So this is actually on Tatooine, and it gives me a waypoint to the vendor. So it's only 200 meters away. You can kind of see it. It's in that building over there. So this is the map, by the way. You hit M for the map for the key binding that I told you guys about before. And then you can, if you hit control, you can zoom in and out with the mouse wheel. So map, super helpful. Vendors, super helpful. So let's get back to actually what the video is about, and that is grinding. So I'm going to start off by getting my droid out. So let's get the droid out, call pet, and then we always want to make sure that we're grouped with a pet. So G, and then I'm going to tell it to stay, which is S. I set up those keybinds before in the previous video, but it's really simple. All you have to do is highlight the droid, click on it, hit tilde, and then you can do program, and then set the program by just hitting the key after it says set program. I also have one of my other tunes here, and he's gonna join. He's gonna just follow us around. So let me get him to join. And what I'm gonna show you is taking multiple missions in the same direction. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna see if we can find some things easy to kill. All right. So on Tatooine, there are a ton of ranged mobs. Creedles, let's see what warts are ranged, I think. Dune lizards are ranged, I think. They're all pains in the asses. You don't want to do ranged things. So if you're grinding on Tatooine, pick up banthas. Koopas, I believe, are not ranged as well. And dewbacks are melee. So I'm going to stick with this bantha and dewbacks, since I know both of those are definitely melee only. So I took missions in the northeast direction. So let me grab another couple missions. So on the server, kind of different from other servers, we have you can do 4 missions per character. So I'm going to do the same thing on my other character and just grab some missions off screen. And we're just going to do just a couple, so we can kind of see. So why you would do this is if you take a bunch of missions in the same direction, especially on multiple different tunes, it actually will spawn all the missions kind of almost on top of each other, and we'll see that in a second. Whoop, not Dune Lizard. Mountain Dew back. Alright, so my other tune is going to mount up and follow my dude. Alright, so let's grab this and let's go. Just waiting for my guy to follow me, and we're actually going to go the other way. Also, I did want to show one more thing. Let's go ahead and grab a buff, since these things are going to be hitting a little bit harder. I showed you guys last video about how to use the droids as a buff. I'm going to show you how to use a player as a buff this time. So there's a number of buff houses around in the area. Some of them have entrance fees, and others don't. So sometimes you just have to whisper or whatever the player the bot, and it'll give you a buff. So let's whisper. Just send a tell to Grace. Say buff please, and they will buff me. So buffing begins now. See this. So before it was, I believe it was like 1,500 for the bot buff, and this is slightly higher buff. Not the best, but still pretty good. So I'll go ahead and tip them 5K. Just so, oops, I don't have. Let's. So when you tip, it actually goes from your person. You have two inventories for money. One's your person, the other's the bank. So I'll just do bank tip or tip the amount and then bank at the end, and then it'll ask you for 5%. It does cost a little money to do bank tips, but now they have some money. All right, and then my other character is on the other side of the house, trying to get to me on the follow command. So let me grab the bike, grab my character, who's going to turn around and follow me. So when you do set up multiple people following you, you have to make sure in your controls, if you want people to follow you correctly, they have to have chase camera mode turned off. Otherwise, they will just follow. They'll kind of, it's crazy, but they'll kind of follow you, but then if their camera moves or something like that, they'll just go off into a random direction. So you don't want that. You want them to stick to you, so make sure you turn chase camera off. And we're coming up on... Oh, speaking of, I forgot what other things we can do. So let me go ahead and I can equip this bag. So not only do you get 13 things, oh, you get a bunch of things. Look at that. So you get a bunch of things. I'll go over them in a second. In the this is the brawler grind pack. You get foods, it looks like, and you get a number of starting weapons, which is great because the starting weapons, for example, this is the starting weapon that your character is generated with, so that's 35 to 120. I believe there's an axe here. Yeah, so 42 to 166. You know, it's not a huge difference, but it definitely helps. I think the biggest one you might see here is the survival knife. I bought one earlier. That was, so this is, not as good as the one I purchased earlier, but I mean, you're getting all this for 10,000. So it's a great beginner pack. So we'll go over, let's see. So you get a Gaffy baton, a metal staff, two-handed axe, heavy axe, survival knife, wood staff, and then, let's see, we got some Mando wine, we got some travel biscuits, which increase terrain negotiation. This one increases your attack accuracy. We got burst run food, damage. These exo protein wafers are great. They actually reduce how much damage you take, and then dodge food. So what I'll do is I'll take, let's see, I want some of that. Increase the dodge food, and I'll take out some exo protein. Now, you do have to make sure that you remove it from the crate before you get into combat, because once you're in combat, you won't be able to remove it from the crate. So I'll take them and I'll put them down here just so I have access to them. And then you can kind of see, so let me break down food for you. So all the food, like I said before, the buffs on the server, doctor buffs, entertainer buffs, they only affect health and action pools. So doctor only buffs health, the entertainer only buffs action. The other pools you have here are the more classic ones. So health has a substat of strength and constitution, and then action has a substat of quickness and stamina. And then what that does is strength and constitution determine how fast your health regens, and then action and quickness and stamina is how fast your action regens, and also how this is spend less action points in order to accomplish any given physical task. I think strength is similar to that. Yeah. So these foods actually will buff your substats. So you see here they have action, constitution, stamina. Add almost 1,000 for 8 minutes, which is pretty high. This one doesn't have a timer, but it's a number of attacks, and then this one is also a timer. So this is a flat 37% to dodge, which is great because it actually doesn't stack with the Fencer and Pistoler have an innate dodge mechanic. So this is actually on top of that. So you can cap your Fencer and Pistolier dodge at 125, I believe is the cap. Then you can still eat this food and it'll go above the cap. So it's pretty great. So let's take one of each and start attacking things. So you can see here what the timers are for different foods and whatnot. So let's start fighting this thing. So it looks like this is actually going to take some time because I only have one box in this. So instead of making you have to sit here and do that, I will dismount and just attack it with my other dude as well, just so that it goes down a little bit faster, and then we can kind of go over more things. So I did level up, so I'll take the opportunity to, if you have the opportunity to train, take the opportunity to train, especially if you're in a party with a character that has the ability already. So I was able to train for free because I did have a character here already, and I'm going to go ahead and attack everything. Another great thing about the server is that it's not based off of how much you hit or how much damage you do to a creature. It's based on if you hit the creature or not. So what you can do to really speed things up, especially having another person, you just go around, tag everything, and then you have the other person spin. And we'll be able to spin a little bit better as soon as we get another box or two. So you can see already I killed 2 things, I leveled up. So it's super fast if you're in a group. And let's just go ahead and kill all these with my other dude. So he's just doing an area spin, and I'm going to show you what the areas do in just a moment. So let's attack that. Now, for those who aren't familiar with Star Wars Galaxies, I'll do that while I train. The layers themselves, they're going to spawn about 3 or 4 sets of creatures. So usually they'll have the initial spawn that's sitting there with the layer, and then once you attack the layer and get it down to a certain amount of health, another spawn happens, and then once you go back and attack it again and get it down to half health, the last spawn will happen. And the 4th spawn's about a 50-50 shot, so if you actually get it and kill it before you kill the rest of them, you can actually get it so that there is another spawn that comes out. And every time it does spawn, it does do more damage to the layer. So I'm making sure I tag everything, and then I will have my dude stand and do an area attack and kind of kill everything. Alright, so as you can see, I already leveled again. That's 4 boxes in less than a layer. So if you're able to do this, it's really, really fast. If not, it is kind of slow. So for your first character, I would probably suggest going to one of the main cities. They have a bunch of spawns out here, like these little things, minor warts. What you can do is you can just go and you'll be able to kill all the little static spawns of these warts, and it will. Hold on, I'll show you. It does give good experience for how quickly they die. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and generate the vehicle while I'm running over here. And then I'm going to show you. Alright, there's that vehicle, and then he's going to... So, kill a wart. That's see, it's not as much. Those banthas were getting about 9,000 experience. That's why I was able to level up in 3 kills. But these, one shot, they're done, and they give about 700 experience. So it's really fast. So if this is your first character, do that. Go to Isley, go outside of the city. You'll find little packs of these things without layers just right outside of the city. Go and kill them. Oh, alright, so let's mount bikes. Oops. And mount this person. Let's go back to following my dude. Alright, so I'll be able to probably kill one more layer, and then I'll go back so that I can train Novice Fencer. Like I said in the other video, players can train almost everything to another player, including the Master Box. The only thing that you need an NPC trainer for is the Novice Boxes. So in order to get Novice Fencer, not only do I have to get the XP required, which it'll say here, so 125,000 in one-handed XP, but you also have to have it trained by a NPC. Players can't do that, unfortunately. Alright, so let's kill you. Looks like these were a little lower level, and I'm also doing significantly more damage because I have more skills in it. So my accuracy is higher, and my to hit is higher, so this thing should go down really quick. And then as soon as I'm finished with that, I will train, and I'll show you kind of. So really the goal here is to get to level 4. Level 4 is really where this all kicks off. So let me train. There we go. Alright. Level 4 is where this all kicks off, because then you get access to your spin attack. So let me change this around, throw these down there, and then we'll put spin attack in the 4th. Now what's great about spin attack is you can go to a layer, you can hit spin attack, and you see those numbers that you hit the layer, and then these healing things come down. So what happens when you hit a layer is that everything that comes out of the layer will aggro you because you're attacking their home. So they'll go over and try and heal your home. So what you could do is just keep attacking their home. They'll run to you because of it, and you'll be able to do AoE damage. So this is just me doing AoE damage to this. It's pretty good damage for, the weapon I have. So I'll go ahead, and since I'm doing that now, I can have my other dude AoE as well. And what I'll do in a bit is actually go over combat macros so that you can do this without actually having to actively hit any of the buttons. Alright, so I got that Novice Fencer, super quick XP. Let's just get these for the sake of getting these. Really, the only hurdle that you have is getting to that 4th box here. And like I said, if you don't have another character, if you don't have someone that will, come out and spin the layer for you, you can just go to Isley, you can go to Bestine or anything, and go outside of the city, and there'll be a bunch of these static spawns. Let's see, not the dewbacks, but I'll show you what the spawns will look like these. They won't have a layer around them or anything like that, so there's no layer that you can target. That means it's just a static spawn, and all the static spawns only have 400 health, so that's one-shotting something. Alright, let's head back to Stardust, and let's pick up Novice Fencer. See what other things I can talk about here. Like I said, kind of I'm trying to release a number of different starter videos for new people to the server. Like I said, we've kind of had an influx of newer people that are not only new to Stardust themselves, to the rule set that Stardust is, but to Star Wars Galaxies in total. So I'm trying to keep it pretty basic to, like, if you've never played Star Wars Galaxies before, and you hop on to Stardust for the first time, these videos will help you. So not only are you gonna hear the differences between our server and other servers, but pretty much how to play Star Wars Galaxies in general. I think next I'm gonna try and touch on some crafting. That's for a different video. I really want to put together a crafting panel with some of our crafters on the server and have everyone kind of go over their own craft that they've taken some time to master. Star Wars Galaxies has a rich crafting system that is kind of it's kind of daunting, actually. If you've never crafted in Star Wars Galaxies and you get into this, it's kind of intimidating because there's a lot going on with it. And like I said, I'm gonna see if I can put out some videos on how to do that. So let's turn off the map and let's find a fencer somewhere here. So where are you? Fencer, here, fencer trainer. All right. So that's 5,000 credits. So those missions I was taking were between 7,000 and 9,000. So that's pretty much one mission's worth of thing. So it can't teach me anything else. But now I can have stun batons, which is great. So now I have improved one hit, which will. So this is one-handed hit 2, which is going to do significantly more damage. So going forward, I'm going to do the same method. I'm just going to go and AoE down some layers, and it'll be able to fill up the boxes pretty quickly. So strategies for leveling is you always want to focus on the AoE. So the more damage you do in an AoE, the quicker you're going to be able to do. You're going to be able to kill layers. So for this, I would go up footwork, get one improved one-handed spin. That's going to give you more damage in AoE. Plus, it gives you a number of different things like weapon speed and one-handed center of beam, which are both great. So always do that. Always get your AoE up first, and then grinding everything out is a breeze. But like I said, my name's Gremlin. This is Stardust. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave in the comments or join our Discord. There's always someone to help you guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you out there.